West Side Greenland 00605. I'm gonna tell you a true story that happened in my life. In my life. Not yours, mine. So, I was brought up in Greenland, which is now called Trumpland. Um, Let me just check if my microphone is on. Yep, it is. Yeah, West Side Greenland 00605. Yeah. So, I was brought up by my adopted parents because I was adopted at day 3 of my birth because my mother had a birth psychosis. So they decided I should be adopted away to some random strangers. And the first thing I remember from my childhood, it was that I was always running around, screaming and yelling for the good music that was on television. And with my sisters, Lena, Monique, and Naya. They were our neighbors. They took care of me. Then there was Anders Ole Olsen. Then there was somebody else. I don't remember. Yeah. Um, then I remember, like at the age of 5, I saw this thing on the television, which involved sexual activities, like film. Uh, then it was summertime. I remember the next day I saw that movie. I was talking to my friend down the street, Oge Annas Olsen, that I saw this thing on television and I want to show it how it goes with you that I learned on the television, age 5. Then I took his pants down and pretended to fuck him, doggy style. He said that was very, very funny. He was laughing at just bending over. And then after like 2 minutes, we like did this, right? Okay, it's enough. Yeah. It was just behind the house, on the rocks. Yeah, rocks are nice. Yeah, West South Greenland. Then around. Let me. Important things I need to remember is at some point between I was age 4, 5 till like 8. It's like just do whatever you want. Like, I was like this running around kid, like just whatever. Like I remember when I was age 5, we went to the preschool place and I met my best friend ever, I can walk Leonard, and we became friends through 10 years in school. Best friends. Only I can walk. We were best friends. Yeah. Then I somehow changed at the year of 7 or 8, where my mother. I went walking alone to the building where my dad worked, and just when I'm about to enter the building, my biological mother comes out and she grabs me and she says, "I'm your real mother." And my brain, the right side of my brain or the left side, it just changed because I always believed that my parents were my real parents, and I kind of froze and started crying, froze and started crying. It was like ah, and I didn't know how to react to that. That she told me she was my real mother, so I just was there crying, and somehow my brain chemistry changed, and I can't remember anything from past that. She just hugged me, whatever. Rejected her because she's such you know what, you know. And then like a year later, my mother told me, my adopted mother told me that I was adopted. But I understood that and I complied, and I was there lying in the bed uh, in Inspector back in 21. I was just lying there in the bed, just relaxing, and she came in through the door. She sat by my side while I was lying, and she told me the truth. She told me that I'm adopted, but she's my real mother. And I just watched, looked at her with nothing. I already knew it, and uh, then she told me that you have to believe in God. You have to do the things God tells you. You have to live up to the expectations of God. And I asked my mother, which God? Why is there a God? What is your why do you believe that there is a God? And she said, there just is a God, and that's final. And I kind of sat there lying on the bed, just in disbelief, in despair, but I respected her answer. And I think it's the most painful feeling ever when you 10 years later find out that your real father has committed suicide before I met him. His name was Johan, and like I went through this whole phase of just having fun in life until I reached like age 14, 15, where I there was this guy in my class that kept bothering me, and I broke his nose with a knee to the head, to the nose, yeah. And I was called in for, I should explain myself. Why did you break his nose? I said, because he's mocking me, and he told me my family was not real, and that I was a bastard, so I broke his nose. And I think around that time, my family, my parents, Stock and Ruth Lange, um, they had a cabinet, whatever, like a bar cabinet, and I used to drink it since I was aged like 10, 11. Like I had nothing to do at home, you know. Oh, might as well put up 10 drinks, small sips into one big glass like this, right? Fill it to the brim, then just drink it in one go, you know. Then I would call on the telephone. I would call to Denmark, uh, the telephone sex machine. Like I would call her. Uh, I was like trying to be like a man. I was only like 12 years old, and I asked, "Hello, can you give me gratification?" And she said, "Aren't you a little too young to talk with me?" I said, "No, I'm 19 years old." And she laughed, "No, you're just a kid." She knew me. She knew that I was not an adult. Telephone sex line, you know? I thought I was so clever. I thought I was so yeah. She knew immediately I was a young kid. uh, then I remember, like in the summertime, like May, June, before we went to Denmark to um, go on vacation, I would often listen to classical music on the stereo before my parents got home, and listen to all kind of music like Leonard Bernstein, um, like Mozart, you know, Tchaikovsky, Vivaldi. I would listen to it for like until I get off of school at 1:30, go home, drink, listen to classical music, you know, alone at home. I felt great, you know. I was drunk, 11 years old. uh, uh, Summertime, you know, you long for the summer when you're in a cold place the whole winter, just wondering why the hell am I doing this alpine skiing? I'm the champion, whatever, you know? Yeah. Um, then I remember my other adopted brother from the family. He would rebel against my daddy, Stock, and like they would get you into arguments like once every 2 months or whatever, because my adopted brother needed money for hashish. He spent all his money, and when he called, my dad used to say, talk to mom. She knows better. Uh, then my mother would lend my brother 500 crowns, which is about, let's say, $60. So but he didn't say he was gonna buy hashish for it. I knew that instantly. Yeah, of course. You know your brother, you know your sister, you know. But my brother is like 15 years older than me, so I was kind of developing, you know. The first thing you need to learn as a kid is that when people start talking shit, you don't believe them. Don't be naive or foolish. You have to assume that they are lying, because there are some people that are stupid. There are some people that look to the left when they're lying, or they look down to the left when they're lying. You catch that up pretty fucking quick. You need to look people in the eye when you say something so they can, trust it, And I remember, mm, just 5 months of the year, I was obeying my father because he told me exercise is good for you. You need to exercise. So I went in the winter time, I went skiing every day in the winter. If there was not a snowstorm or if my dad didn't have time, he always had time for me to go skiing. And I worked out for like 3 4 hours every day after school. Then at 6 o'clock, I would go conditional training in the school, in the NS VFS. Yeah. So I would always trying to please my adopted father with what he said, and I never rebelled until the age of, let's say, 16, where I found out that I was in love with every woman in my school, and I was like, my interest had changed. I was buff, like I've grown these muscles. Now, but I was still a kid inside. I was still like 10, 11 years old in my mind, and but then reality sets in when you go into the city, drink a beer, and you say you're 18 years old when you're actually 16, 17, and you buy a beer. Let's say you drink 5 beers with a friend or alone, then suddenly manhood will arise, right? You know, I don't like you because you never ever talk with me. You're not, you know, people will look at me weirdly like, am I some kind of a joke? Like, then, you know, I didn't understand the dynamics between going to the city and having a laugh on the alpine slopes of Greenland and into the fucking Greenland bar machine. And at age 17, I would think it was October 20th, 1999. I smoked my first joint. It was Lebanese hashish, just zero point 0.2 grams of Lebanese hashish, red Lebanon. Yeah, West Side. Yeah, it. I took a hit. I was vehemently against smoking of any kind, but then in my mind, I tricked myself to believe that, oh, it's probably nothing. Everybody says it's really, really good. So I go smoke with my friend Alec and Larson and her girlfriend Bia, in Nuswak, Greenland, and we smoked this red Lebanese hashish, or maybe it was black Nepal hashish. I smoked it like 4 hits. I started falling down on the bed, and it was like I was hallucinating. It felt like the whole room was bouncing, 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 and I just started laughing for 1 hour, 30 minutes. And they were wondering what the hell is wrong with him. And it made me laugh harder because I didn't expect they were sad. Oh, and that's history made right there. Yeah. Have a nice night.